Hello, and welcome to yet another amazing Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine Authors Network interview. Today we have such an amazing lady. She is a six-time best-selling author with another one on the way. She has three of her own out there, as well as actually hers are on self-help and leadership. Then she has three anthologies out there, as well as a published book for her father and autobiography for her father. So I am going to go ahead and bring Dr. Elizabeth on in. Hello, Dr. Elizabeth.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for
Thank you
having me,
so much
Tiffany.
for
Appreciate
joining
it.
us today. Thank you so much. It has just been such a pleasure meeting you. Dr. Elizabeth and I actually participated in the Leadership Experience Tour with Sean Fair in September, and it was just such an amazing connection. I'm so glad to have her in the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics family. Dr. Elizabeth, tell us just a little bit about yourself, please.
Thanks, Tiffany, and welcome everyone. I am a finance director for a health insurance company by day, but an empowerment leader 24/7. And my mission really is what I call break the eight. I am trying to shepherd more African Americans into leadership because we are poorly represented at those levels. And I've been through the pains of trying to work the corporate, I'll say, culture. And I'm still in it and I really enjoy it, but I really need to bring more along. So that's my mission and what I do every day between my day job and everything I'm doing in the evening, speaking and providing leadership tools to other individuals.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And you're just so wonderful what you do. So how long have you been writing? Because gosh, you got a lot of literature here that you put out there. So yeah,
Well,
tell us
it's
about
only been since 2019. Actually, I hated writing. I'm more of a math person. That's why I work in finance. But when I did my dissertation for my PhD, I was forced to write. And once I finished that, I actually enjoyed it. And many people will say they didn't, but I really did. And from there, I said I could do this and write more books to help others. And I had a cousin who wrote a book, and I reached out to her and said, "Hey, how'd you do it? I would love to, pick your brain on this." And she reached out to me back in 2019, just in time. I finished my dissertation, figuring out what was next. And she said, "Hey, would you love to be coached?" And I said, "Absolutely." And that helped me birth my first book, which I launched on New Year's Day of 2019.
Wow, that is so amazing. God, you've been very busy for the last couple of years.
Yes.
I just absolutely love it. Oh my goodness. Now, just tell me about just I know me as an author, I went into it kicking and screaming, and it was so just tough. Like, how did you really just manage to kind of get yourself through that just to really be able to get in there and enjoy it and create, again, six bestsellers?
So the first two, which were on my own, it really was the first one having that accountability coach. So we would check in every single week and she would say, "How's it going? How's it going? You have this date and goal in mind. Let's make sure we get there." So it really was the accountability piece. And similarly with the anthologies, when you're working with a large group, there's always this deadline that you have to have it in by. And unfortunately, I have so many things going on that
Yeah.
deadlines work for me. So when I don't have a deadline, it seems to stall. I get writer's block. I don't
Mhm.
feel like writing. But there are days when I have spurts of writing. And when I have that spurt, I got to do it. I'll
Yeah.
have tons of notepads and papers. And then to assemble it takes some time, but it really is in spurts. But if I have a deadline, I am all in and working toward that deadline.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is definitely the key, having that deadline, making sure it's on your calendar. That accountability piece, though, you're so right. I was paired up with another young lady in my first project, and I think that really helped me to stop kicking and screaming and fighting the whole thing. Because once you're sharing with someone else too, and you're kind of hearing their pain factor, and you feel like, okay, you know what, I'm not alone in this.
Right.
I'm gonna be okay.
Yes.
So, what inspires you to write your books?
For me, it really is. I want to be the resource that I didn't have when I was coming up through the leadership ranks. And that really was what spearheaded my two books, what I call the Leap series. I want to help people leap from where they are and really propel themselves into their passion and purpose in their career. So, what I've really been able to do is think about like, what feedback didn't I get back then? What resources did I not know back then? What type of mentors could I have really benefited from back then? What are the situations where I probably overreacted that I could have done differently had I known more? So that's really my thought process around what I share with individuals is really, what did I need that I didn't get back then, and help people move faster than I did in my career.
Wow. Wow, that's very important. It's very profound too, just being able to give people the things that we didn't have, I
Same as
think I
our
do that.
parents did for us. We always try to make the next generation better than us.
Right. Yeah. And that's vital right now. Right. We're living in an age of technology, and I think we're losing, some of our writers and things like that to that. So it's very important to have, people like yourself, to be able to help motivate, people to write and put their thoughts down as well. So what changed for you since before you began writing?
Well, it's interesting. I'm a very private person, so I never really put my thoughts from my childhood, what I've been through, and part of the book anthologies really allowed me to reach back and bring that all forward to say, you know what, I've really sheltered what has gone on, but it could really help someone else. And that really actually freed me a bit being part of those book anthologies. In addition to that, I wanted my dad to share his story because he's got a great life. He was in education for over 35 years. Mm-hmm. Quite often, he was the only Black leader in the room, and he fought through a lot of struggles, even coming from Trinidad, where he was born at the age of 2. So much he and his mother, who was a single parent, went through to get him the right education, the right grounding. He's a great man. And I said, I need you to share that story. Yeah. And I learned a lot about myself from that book, because now I know, that's why some of that genetics has played into my life. So it really allowed me to learn about myself and about him. And his book was renowned. He got lots of great feedback on the first book, which was called A Black First. Mm-hmm. And that was his life from coming over at age 2 to age 60 when he retired. And he did that during COVID in 2020. And then in 2021, still confined to COVID, he wrote the sequel, A Black First, The Blackness Continues, because when he went into retirement, he was still a great resource. And still a lot of discrimination, school districts not doing the right thing. So he's been consulting, and I wanted him to share those stories also around how the struggle is still real, and he can really inspire other African-American educators, again, an area where we are also lacking, to really pursue education, because we really need to help, again, our next generations move forward. So that was really what has really benefited me since writing, really getting my voice out, and now even my dad's.
Wow. Just, I guess, knowing that your story is not your story, right?
That's right.
Somebody else needs that story. So anybody out there that is looking to, birth a book, definitely talk to, some of the authors around you, because just tell your story. Because it's definitely, you have someone out there that feels like they are alone. And when they read your story, they know that they're not alone. They know that they can get through that struggle that they're going through. And then they sit and they watch and they get inspired by all the things that you have done to get through those struggles. So it definitely,
Absolutely, yes.
So what advice can you give somebody that's really just starting to, think about wanting to write a book? Because it is a struggle.
It is. I would say, first of all, get a coach or help or just someone to help you stay on task. Um, Someone to just say, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? How many chapters have you written? How are you feeling? Because a lot of times we kind of self-deprecate ourselves and say, you know what, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. But if you know you're going to get a call every single week to say, hey, how's it going? You better have an answer. So I always say to start off, get a coach. And that also helps you understand the process of what you really need to do between getting your book cover designed, understanding how to format the pages, ebook versus paperback. There's so much involved in self-publishing a book. Now, you can go the publisher route, but I went self-publishing just so I could understand all the nuances, and I really, really enjoyed it. The second piece is get an editor or a proofreader, and you have to have someone who really understands your style, because we all write in different ways. And if you get a proofreader or editor who's correcting everything that you're saying because they don't understand how you're trying to say it, it gets very frustrating in that feedback correction process. And the third thing is schedule time. Put it on your calendar like a meeting, whether it's an hour a day, in the morning or night, whenever you have the most energy. Because again, that schedule makes it feel like it's a regular part of your routine. And that will allow you to get it moving continuously, and you'll get done faster.
Yes. Book coaches are, excuse me, book coaches are definitely important. I know when I did start, we did have a book coach, and she was just the most amazing coach, and being able to check in with her and have those Zoom meetings and, be able to, meet with the other ladies that are, for me, I started out with an anthology. So it was meeting every week with the group, to make sure that we were all on task and all on, staying on target. I know for me, I never thought I could be a writer, so it was like, as I'm going through all those different pain factors, as I was going through that writer's block, things like that, being able to meet with the other ladies and talk about that really helped me to get through that writer's block as well. Now, as you've gone through, again, you've created so much here. Have you ever, like, in that journey, did you hit that writer's block, that wall, and just like, what did you do to just push yourself through that to get it all out?
Yeah, so what I had to really do, and it depends on if I'm writing the anthology, my own personal story, or sharing my tips. It really was kind of going back to what did I say in a previous book or previous writing, or even because I'm a speaker, I have so many speeches I've given over the years. I am going on 12 years now of a Toastmaster, and I've done hundreds of speeches with tons of content. And I've had to sometimes go back to say, hey, you know what? I gave a speech with some content back in 2015. And I can go ahead and find that file and find one little snippet that will either stir my memory or like, oh, that's good, I got to add this over here. So if I can reuse content, I absolutely do that. I have the same trouble when I'm working on speeches and presentations. Conversely, I'll go back to one of my books and say, hey, what did I say here? That might be a great comment to elaborate or add on as I'm working on a speech. So I've been blessed to be able to be a speaker and an author, and I can tag team myself off of my own work if I get that block. Or I'll tell you, I get the best ideas in the bathroom. Yeah. I will tell you, I have a pad and paper and a pen in the bathroom because all of my great ideas come there. So I've had many an idea come to me there, and that helps also alleviate some of the blockage, literally.
That is so funny that you said that, because I do now keep a pad of paper in the bathroom with me, because something will come, and if I don't have that pad of paper, it's gone.
It's gone. Yes.
What was that again I was thinking about? So let's get into a little bit of your speaking. So
Yes.
again, I know I met you, at the Leadership Experience Tour. You've been speaking for quite a while. If
Yes.
there's someone out there that's really looking into wanting to get into speaking, can you tell them how they can start to just really get themselves into speaking and kind of get themselves more comfortable with getting on, that stage and being out on that platform?
Well, I first started in Toastmasters, and I had always enjoyed speaking prior to that. But Toastmasters really helped me hone in on what I'll call the technical aspects of speaking, being more confident, hand gestures, grammar, having a beginning, middle, and end. And that's really helped me shape the beginning of my speaking career. And what I then elaborated into was speaking on virtual stages in the last 2 years, where I've been involved in the Black Speakers Network. And I'll give a shout out to Brian Oles if he's out there listening. He was a Toastmaster, left his full-time job to pursue this Black Speakers Network full-time. He's done a phenomenal job with that. He allows speakers to come in and speak, bring speakers in. And who I met through his group was Dr. Cheryl Wood. Another shout out to another great speaker. She is an international best-selling speaker, speaker development coach. And I got involved in her programs, and she really wants to shepherd speakers into their next by giving them a chance to speak in different venues. And that's actually how I met Sean Fair for the Leadership Experience Tour. He was on one of her stages. After that, I was also on the same stage. He reached out to me, said, would you be interested? I, similarly work with speakers to really allow them to understand the speaking industry and get another stage to speak on. And that's how I ended up with Sean. And things have just been moving forward since then. I'll be back on his stage again in February. I signed up right away after September to get right back on stage, because the more you speak, the more people will get to see you and know you. And that really is what creates your expanded network of opportunities.
Excuse me, that's so true. Now, I'm going to tell you, I really, really wanted to be there with you guys for Leadership Experience Tour February, but you are not going to get this California girl in Michigan in February.
I understand.
Real. But I know they also have some leadership experience coming up in Texas as well. So hopefully we'll be able to see each other again in person in August as well. That would be awesome.
It would be, yes. I'm excited about that.
So tell us, so you mentioned, Cheryl Wood, and I know that 7th book that you have been involved with, that was with Cheryl. So can you tell us a little bit about that book?
That book, and it's right here. I have a copy. It is called Possibilities Unlimited. And the other great thing about speaking on these different stages is you get access to individuals. So she's partnered up with Les Brown, and this is their 3rd book together. And I'm excited. On the back, she always has all the pictures of all the authors' faces. This launches January 12th. We'll be doing our Amazon bestseller campaign. We also have the paperback copy. This is called Possibilities Unlimited. And all of her books are really about motivating others to understand someone else's journey, what they've been through, to make people understand, hey, you know what, whatever you're going through, you can get through it. And in this particular book, I talk about my journey to get my PhD, because there were some days I felt like this is not going to happen. I'm spending all this money, all this time. I wasn't seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, but I finally made it there. So I share my frustrations, what I've been through, thinking that there was a little bit of possible racism in there going through the process. And I really want people to say, no matter what you're going through, if you figure out and take some steps to get, moving, you can get to the finish line. So that's what I share in this book. And my other anthologies with her are very similar, other portions of my life and what I had gone through and how I came out a victor on the other side.
Oh, God, I love it. I love it. I love it. Share your stories, people. Yes. Share your stories. That is so impactful in this world, to make sure that you don't keep it in. It's therapeutic, really. When you write that story and you release that, it really does just help you to get to that next level. So definitely, definitely get out there and share your stories.
Yes.
So tell us, so what is next for you, Dr. Elizabeth? I know, like, you're just so amazing. I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
I had to make a list. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am busy. And I was on a call this morning talking about how can I automate some items in my business because I'm just so busy. So besides this book coming out, I have a book in my series. It's called Gaining Access to Getting Promoted in Corporate. Again, I'm trying to shepherd more African Americans into leadership, and I'm sharing 50 tips that will empower women of color to be visible, vocal, and valued. I'm hoping to launch that in February as I get on the stage for Let in Michigan on February the 12th. So I'm hoping everything lines up between waiting for my book cover designer to come back from vacation. I finished laying out my ebooks. I'm excited about that. Also thinking again about 2022 and really helping shepherd more people into leadership. I have this book that kind of came to me over the weekend. I'm not sure the title yet, but it'd be similar to like a Dr. Cheryl anthology, where it would be something around letters to my corporate sisters. Because there are all of us have plenty of stories again to share with our younger selves, meaning those trying to come up behind us, that we could share to say, here's things you need to understand. Here's what happened to me. Don't let it happen to you. Right. So I'm really thinking that that's going to be like my first anthology that I will spearhead. So I'm definitely looking for anyone who's in that space, has got a story to share. Please reach out to me because I definitely want to bring that idea to light. Also, I'm in another project called Born to be Dope with Ryan C. Green. He's another author, speaker, and he's working on another stage and a platform to speak and an audiobook. Oh. So what I've done with that chapter is that I recorded it. So now it's in my own voice, my own tone. I'm telling my story. And those who purchase the audiobook will now get to hear me tell my story. So I'm excited about the audiobook portion. And what else? Getting on more stages to speak, as always. And I'm in one more anthology with Dr. Cheryl Wood and Les Brown coming out in the June-ish timeframe. So I am busy getting all of my ideas out on paper, getting on stages. So I already have stuff booked on my calendar. I'm just trying to fill it all in, make sure I have something to do every single month. And it's filling up quickly. So I'm really excited.
Now, you mentioned earlier, you are still in corporate. Yes. You're still doing this and you got all this stuff going on. So how are you doing it? I mean, I have to ask because that's a lot. I mean, there's people that have a full-time job that are like, I just can't do this full-time job. But you seem like you got 2 full-time jobs with everything you got going on. So please share with us, how do you just keep it together?
What I've been fortunate the last year and a half and now going forward is that I am work from home. So with the pandemic, they sent us all home. I've been home since March of 2020. And that has saved me an hour one-way commute and a ton of money not buying food in the cafeteria every day and eating out a couple of times a week. So that has given me time and money. So the money I'm saving and, gas, all the expenses around driving, food, that's given me the time to invest, time and money to invest in these programs to really be involved. So it feels like I am working all the time, day and night and weekends. But because I'm able to do that right now, I've got to do it until I can't. Right. So right now, I'm very fortunate. I am absolutely killing it on my day job too. So it feels like I don't sleep and I probably only get 4 hours. And even on vacation this past week, I was off from work, but I was doing something every single day. Yeah. So it really is, you make time for what's important. Yeah. And this is really helping set me up for my future. And again, since I'm able to do it now, I am taking advantage of it until I can't.
Right. Yeah. It's so important to, take that time. You mentioned, okay, I got an hour of time back in my day. I got money back in my pocket. There's some that don't have that mindset of saying, let me go ahead and do something productive with this. There's some people that'll say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stay in bed an hour longer now. Or, you know what, this extra money that I have, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to spend it on just, frivolous things that don't really do anything for you. So, sis, I just commend you for taking ownership of your time, taking ownership of that money that you were saving and saying, hey, I'm going to invest this in me because I'm more important than this other stuff.
That's
and
right.
what
I am my
purpose
best
is more
return
important.
on the investment is me.
Exactly. I love that. So is there any feedback, anything else that you really want to share with our audience? We've got a few more minutes before we close up today, but is there any special messages, anything that you want to share with our audiences today?
Well, again, I thank you, Tiffany, so much. It was wonderful to meet you and share your story. People are even coming to me talking about your story. So my family members who heard you speak loved your story. And I think that experience was great. First of all, for all of us to be live on a stage. And that was the first time with the cameras and the microphone and everything else. So that was phenomenal. And I'm excited for those who were part of the February cohort with me, and they're new, and I'm like, I know how it was being new, so it's so interesting to no longer be new but be involved in the process. But again, I tell everyone, step out, whatever your goals were for 2022. If it was to get on more stages, write a book, reach out to someone you don't know, do it. Now is the time. We've been letting COVID be our excuse for almost 2 years now. We've got to get past that. Everything is remote now. Everything can be done via a camera and a microphone. Right. Don't let what's happening outside really stop you from what you want to do on your inside. Yes. Take your passion and your purpose and get out there. We are now global with this way we can interact with each other. So go ahead. We can talk to people. I did an interview 2 weeks ago with a girl in Vietnam. It was 12 hours later in their day than mine. And I was on her podcast. So we can do so much more now. Just, explore your opportunities, because now the world has opened up for everyone to connect. And I encourage you all to do that. Don't be afraid.
Yes. Don't be afraid, everybody. Exactly. Well, look, as our Let's sister, Dr. Clarice Kavanaugh says, take your great to greater. Okay.
Right. That is
definitely
right.
Got to give her props out there, because I really do take that statement right there. And every day I always hear her in my ear. Just, hey girl, take your great to greater today. So thank you so much, Dr. Elizabeth, for joining us today. It has just been so fantastic meeting you. It has been fantastic having you in the October issue of the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine. I look forward to collaborating and doing more work with you. As we have sat and talked, I'm always just going, trying to figure out how I can collaborate with my sisters and things. So we will be having a conversation offline, because I've got a few things that I want to discuss with you.
Absolutely.
If you have time, okay?
Sure.
So again, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine Authors Network interview. Today we had Dr. Elizabeth Carter, our 6-time best-selling author, with another one on the way. So watch out for her. If you want to get and stay connected with Dr. Elizabeth, you can go ahead and reach her at, we've had it actually going down here at www.eac.aappeal.com/books. Okay, you guys definitely go out there, get her books. You are going to love it. You are going to love her. She is definitely going to inspire you to be that great leader that you can be. So thank you so much. Love you. And I will see you next time.